and gentlemen, you are listening to the Pay-Per-Review Podcast brought to you by Gameswappers. And here's your host, none other than Mark Flores. Thank you guys. Thank you. I definitely do appreciate it. Keep in mind, this Pay-Per-Review Podcast is brought to you by Gameswappers, specializing in your retro games. Gameswappers does buy, sell, and trade games. Be sure to follow them on Instagram at Gameswappers. That's Gameswappers. That's Gameswappers on Instagram. Be sure to give them a follow. All their information is available via Instagram. First and foremost, I'd like to thank any and everybody who listened to my first podcast, the Fastlane 2016 review. I definitely want to thank all you who actually gave a hoot to actually tune in and listen. Everyone on YouTube who actually gave me a few views there. I'm really astonished by all the turnout on my podcast. I'm definitely glad that there's some marks out there who definitely appreciate wrestling as much as I do. Let's not waste any time. Let's go into the Post-Fastlane Raw that was delivered on Monday night. Very surprising, I want to say, at the least. What ended up happening in the first opening segment was the Vincent J. McMahon Award of Excellence. The award recipient ended up being none other than Stephanie McMahon. That pretty much came off as no surprise to me. It still was up in the air who's actually going to be the real recipient, but you can definitely see that this was a heel-like tactic brought on by the Authority. It started with Vince McMahon bringing it to the award recipient, which was Stephanie. Vince McMahon starts off this big tirade of saying how longevity definitely is the McMahon legacy, which brought an allusion to what ended up happening further down the segment. Stephanie McMahon ended up being the award winner recipient. She comes down to the arena. She comes down to the squared circle, comes in with a pre-written speech that she just wrote just in case, which we all know is a load of crap. But that just did nothing but bring jeers from the crowd. And like I said, this was just nothing but a heel-like tactic brought on by the Authority. But it did do the justice that it needed to do by being a negative crowd attraction, which brought off negative vibes, like I said. The best thing to come out of this segment is before Stephanie even starts speaking, and that's even good to start off because let's just be completely honest here. It's just we don't like hearing anything the Authority has to say anymore. This storyline in its own is a very, very, very sad one now. Before she even begins to speak, Shane McMahon's Titantron comes on. All you hear is "Here Comes the Money." His music comes out. The crowd goes nuts. This pop is probably one of the biggest pops I've heard. Almost as loud as AJ Styles' Royal Rumble debut. This was a very loud pop. Detroit was going nuts. So Shane McMahon comes out in the arena and starts spewing some information based on towards Vince and towards Stephanie. Basically setting up an angle where he wants to be in control of Monday Night Raw. So what ends up happening is Shane ends up saying comments about dwindling stocks, poor ratings, and various injuries under the eyes of Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. I really thought this was a good bringer of attention to the issues at hand with WWE. For Shane and for Shane to say that basically lets everyone know that WWE within itself is completely aware of the issues that it has. Like I said, it's a public company. These stocks are dwindling. These ratings are really poor. And you have a slew of injuries from all these talented wrestlers. It's very sad. But for WWE to make awareness to this is actually pretty good. They actually know that they have objectives that they need to get taken care of. Perfect. That's what I like. Shane ends up saying that, well, I left, but my place in line hasn't been interrupted. I've allowed all this to happen. Stephanie, why don't you step aside and let the men talk? Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon end up talking, and Shane, with the power he has held over Vince McMahon for some reason, is able to control Monday Night Raw. the crowd goes nuts. Detroit loves it. And like I said, as a reflection of the WWE Universe, everyone else is going to be in favor of this. We are definitely sick and tired of seeing the authority angle go on. It's been going on way too long, in my opinion. Vince McMahon says, okay, you'll take care of Monday Night Raw. That's fine. But your control will cease if you lose a match at WrestleMania, this WrestleMania in Dallas. You have to wrestle the opponent of my choosing. Shane says, okay, he's with it. His opponent is going to be The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match. Now, I know what you're thinking. There's a few things that we need to get clarified here. The questions at hand is Shane healthy enough to get this match, to make this match a very successful one? What's the status on Undertaker? We are aware that he's actually bulking up and working out for this appearance at WrestleMania. I think he's not scheduled for any appearances this month, but to the months leading up in WrestleMania to March, definitely he has to have a couple of appearances on a SmackDown or a Raw, maybe just Raws mostly. But this is an issue that they need to get taken care of. This feud between the two needs to get taken care of immediately, probably in the next coming Raws. We don't have that much time till WrestleMania. Like I said, the first issue at hand that I brought up is Shane McMahon able to bring on a good match? Around the time that Shane McMahon was around, he put on great shows. He had a couple good hardcore, good ambulance matches with Kane. He had a great match with the Big Show where he did some very, very dangerous spots. Like if he actually botched any of those spots, we probably wouldn't be talking about Shane McMahon ever coming back into the ring, because we're talking these kind of spots were very, very concussion. You were very susceptible to concussion, how far he fell on some of these spots. But like I said, if we know how Shane can perform, we know that this is going to be an average to an above average match. I'm not going to say it's going to be very technically savvy. This is going to be a very rough match. Probably both of them, you're probably going to see color from either Shane or Undertaker. Both of them are going to have to bleed. Either one or the other. That's all Hell in a Cell is. I mean, you're definitely going to try to, you are really going to find that they might be both bleeding, either one of them. But those are the issues that we need to get clarified. But I'm definitely glad to see Shane back in the mix. I think it's a good change of pace for this company. That's definitely going to bring ratings up on the build up to WrestleMania, because as right now, with all these injuries that they're dealing with, they need to find players in this game that could take this WrestleMania over the top, because they need to fill that 100,000 seat arena. I've been in Dallas Stadium, and I can tell you it is the modern day Roman Coliseum. Like I said, what might end up happening too, like I said, don't take this for granted. This is just a rumor, but what I'm thinking is that Shane McMahon might find a representative for his corner to fight someone to fight the Undertaker at the Hell in a Cell. Maybe Shane's not willing to take the bumps again. Maybe he's just gonna, maybe they'll throw an angle out where he's able to find a representative, i.e. another wrestler that can actually pull off this match. So yeah. One of the few matches I wanted to bring highlights to is the New Day and the Lucha Dragons versus Neville. I just want to let you know that I definitely commend Big E for taking all these mid-rope bumps. He is always taking these bumps. I see it almost weekly where he just flies through the middle rope and just takes a bump without breaking his fall. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he's not injured yet. But like I said, the New Day needs to keep this role going of being the most popular attraction in all of wrestling. I mean, no one gets more of the crowd attention now besides, who else does? I mean, the New Day does it, and then who else gets a bigger pop other than, your John Cena's or your Roman Reigns and your Dean Ambroses. The only ones who get pops nowadays, Brock Lesnar. I mean, the New Day need to keep this going. They need to keep a healthy streak going, because as of now, the WWE is really unlucky when it comes to having people injured. We all know that. A couple good spots to know. We saw a standing shooting star press from Neville. It was from the ring to the outside onto Big E. So he was on the outside part of the ropes on the ring and ends up doing a standing shooting star press. Lays on his back like he was like a schoolyard bully style with the two-man. He ends up crouching down on all fours, and then Kalisto comes up, repeats the same move on top of him again, which I thought was crazy. Definitely appreciate that from Adrian Neville and Sin Cara and Kalisto, the Lucha Dragons. Very good match. I just wanted to point that out. We have a lot to cover as far as the storyline goes. I just wanted to bring the attention to that match. I really thought it was a good match. Then we have the Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman segment. One thing I came to notice that there was no pyro for Brock when he actually does his knee pump with his arms down. I kind of find that as odd as AJ Styles had pyro. I don't know what's going on with Michigan where they don't allow pyro in the arenas, but that definitely was a thing to note. But the segment showed that Dean Ambrose is getting beaten around backstage earlier. He actually they actually cut to the segment where he actually got beat up before the Raw event, and Brock Lesnar ended up beating him up, which is like I said, what we're probably going to see is going to be Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania. That's going to be almost one of those confirmed matches that you could see already. By them feuding, Brock isn't a regular wrestler who comes on every week. He's a part-timer. So him and his few appearances are just going to end up leading up to WrestleMania, to where, what we're more likely going to see is Dean Ambrose getting over on Brock. A few things to worry about this storyline is, are the fans going to be more sympathetic towards Dean Ambrose, the fallen hero, the weak hero coming out of an ambulance after he got beaten up by Brock Lesnar earlier that day? He comes rolling out of an ambulance into the Raw arena. The crowd went pretty nuts, but at the end of the day, who's going to be the more popular superstar to get over? Is it going to be the heel that came in part-time, or is it going to be Dean Ambrose, who's going to have to put on a performance week after week to actually have everyone fall for him as the babyface to be victorious at WrestleMania? Is that going to happen? I don't know. I know within myself, I know that Dean Ambrose could be very over with this crowd, but it's will this storyline end up taking him to the top level card? Will he break through that glass ceiling? Will he get this brass ring at WrestleMania? Who knows? I hope so. He definitely does work hard for it. He definitely does have the most extensive moveset as far as a lot of wrestlers in the game goes for right now. But how easy of a job does Brock Lesnar have nowadays? Speaking of that, I mean, he only shows up every so often, and every time he does show up, Paul Heyman does all his talking. I just wanted to put that out there. It's just like, this guy is in a good spot. I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be in this position where someone else does his talking, someone else sets up his storylines, but for him as a position right now, what he's done before earlier in the game, it's definitely all the reason why he's in the game today as a primetime talent. It's definitely good to see. He's definitely worked hard for it. He's definitely got the look still to take it over. He is definitely worth every cent in WWE. I like the guy. I like his. I definitely like his image. I like the Beast. The whole Beast character development has always been good to me. I definitely do enjoy it. So another match we might see at WrestleMania. I saw this beef with the Dudleys and the Usos earlier after the Brock Lesnar segment. And it might be that since the Dudleys are so anti-table right now, what's probably going to happen is that the Usos are going to propose a TLC match with these guys at WrestleMania. The Dudleys are still on contract to keep going past WrestleMania, so let's see what happens. Maybe the Usos fight the Dudleys at WrestleMania. The babyfaces who are going to bring out the tables versus the heels who are notoriously noted for bringing out these tables. Now you're going to have them being so anti-tables that this will definitely put over the Usos if they end up getting the victory at WrestleMania. Who knows? I've seen it to where it looks so cookie cutter to a point, and then WWE just flips a 180 and doesn't make that happen. To me, I like surprises. So sometimes in that instance, it is okay. But for something to be so obvious, like Roman Reigns ended up winning last year's Royal Rumble and this year's Royal Rumble. Almost winning this year's Royal Rumble, but for sure winning last year's Royal Rumble. You saw that a mile away. I like surprises. Maybe the Usos win it, but maybe the Dudleys win it by winning the TLC match that they have the most experience with. They'll definitely build a storyline for that. Look forward to that match at WrestleMania. Like I said, it's not official yet, but hopefully it is. Y2J and AJ Styles, the next segment after the Usos, ended up going against the Ascension, which they ended up easily winning. The Ascension have nothing to do at this point. Like I said, they're jobbers. This was definitely just for the Dudleys and the Usos to come to bring light to the attention of the match at WrestleMania. Y2J and AJ Styles, their next segment, it was nothing but Y2J putting up AJ Styles on this pedestal that he needs to be set up. I would want to say that this is an accelerated push for a talent coming in, but I do appreciate it because AJ Styles, one wrestler who definitely does deserve it, is him. He definitely is one of those once-in-a-lifetime acts that you don't see on every promotion. Well, you don't see on WWE for the majority of his career, but that's okay. You've heard him in other places, and you probably YouTubed his matches in other places. A couple matches I've told people to YouTube is the AJ Styles Kurt Angle matches, and they're like, which one? I instantly reply, all of them. Look all of them up. They're all good matches. AJ Styles ends up getting put over by Chris Jericho at Fastlane with the victory, but then he ends up telling him, look, you are definitely phenomenal. You beat me at Fastlane. I'm a man. I'm going to shake to it. So that just gives... I want to commend Y2J for putting over the talent. You know, he's around the same age, but he's given AJ a great amount of validation. And that's what's key here, is that you need AJ to be at this certain point of validation over talent in order to set him up for a good match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. For those who aren't aware that this is what WWE wants to do, they want to give a match to Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles at WrestleMania. But like I said, they need to build this accelerated progression for AJ Styles. It's nothing that you don't need to see. It's nothing that you aren't surprised about, but you definitely see this coming as a matter of what WWE needs to get done. Because, like I said, they need to put butts in those seats. With the cards and the injuries that they have now, I don't see them going past 90,000 capacity. 90,000 people at that arena. I don't see them selling this event out. That's the main objective of what they want to do, but I personally do not see that happening with the card that they have. They better do something quick. I hope so. But anyway, so what ends up happening is this. The Social Outcasts end up coming out and propose a tag team against AJ and Y2J. And that ends up going down, is that the Social Outcasts end up going up against Y2J and AJ. One thing I gotta let people know is that I do not recommend any wrestler to wear sunglasses into the ring and to take bumps like Heath Slater does or Adam Rose, because getting kicked in the face when you have sunglasses is not the cup of tea that you want. You will definitely get scar action. That little plastic pad that rests on the bridge of your nose can peel off, can break off quick and leave the metal exposed to the bridge of your nose, and that definitely can scar and cause a lot of bleeding. I just wanted to bring that awareness to it, but like I said, if you ever are in the interest of being a professional wrestler, do not wear sunglasses in the ring. Yeah, your gimmick can be a wrestler bringing sunglasses into the ring, but it is very dangerous for you to do that. Especially in the ring, taking bumps like that when you are interfering. I just wanted to make a note of that because I definitely see Heath Slater taking a lot of bumps towards the head with a kick with his glasses on, and that's definitely very dangerous. So after that, Y2J and AJ end up winning. Like I said, we need to see validation for this accelerated rate for AJ Styles till WrestleMania. His matches sell themselves, but for WWE to be alongside AJ and pushing him towards this to this goal of possibly being the Intercontinental Champ at WrestleMania, I think it's pretty cool. I really, from the experience of knowing that WWE doesn't really like accommodating outside talent, this is definitely cool. I definitely do appreciate it from WWE. Let's see what else we have on the docket. Just to let you know is that this podcast is brought to you by Gameswappers. Gameswappers, buy, sell, and trade all your retro games. let me see where my notes have here. I got these and got that taken care of. Oh yeah. So we have the Wyatt family against Big Show, Ryback, and Kane. A few things to know from that, just to bring the attention of what ends up happening as far as storyline development goes. I heard Goldberg chants from Ryback, from the opposers, the audience opposed to Ryback. I really think that's ridiculous. Just because a man wears black trunks nowadays is not a symbolism of being a Goldberg copycat. People have been wearing black trunks even before Goldberg, so all that just really needs to stop. Ryback's in his own. I mean, to me, I think that's a kick. That's a very bad kick in the head towards Ryback and his image. I think Ryback is a definitely good key player. He just needs to get a push going to himself again. He has the look. Let's just be honest. But what I wanted to note is that I do appreciate Ryback doing missile drop kicks from the top to the mid rope. Big powerhouses like him are rarely seen doing that nowadays, so that's something definitely to appreciate. It's definitely good to see Kane, Ryback, and Big Show, the 30s, 40s, and 50-somethings, as I like to call them. Ryback being in his 30s, Big Show in his 40s, and Kane in his 50s. It's good to see them putting on good shows. Please enjoy them while they last. I mean, you definitely, you need to see that they're definitely trying out there. They do love what they're doing. They might, Ryback's going to be in our business for at least another 10 more years. Big Show's contractually obligated to be there for at least another decade. Maybe with Kane, I don't know yet. But from what we saw in the match, the Wyatt family ended up winning last night. You saw that you ended up seeing that Ryback left early, but this is to probably symbolize that Ryback is running solo. As far as this trio is concerned, it's now officially parted. Hopefully this sets up another singles push for him towards either the Intercontinental title, maybe a match against Big Show or a match against Kane. It's going to be one of those two guys. I don't see Ryback facing any one of the Wyatts. Bray is going to be reserved for someone else. He needs to be put over at this WrestleMania. He wasn't put over last year against The Undertaker, which to me was sad because as of right now, The Undertaker is going to, he's on his last leg. He's on his final couple WrestleManias. And another thing to note out here before we close out is that the next segment after that was Sasha Banks and Naomi. I personally think that Naomi is doing a good job being the heel in this whole situation. She's definitely good to look at while she's in the ring. So is Sasha Banks. Like I said, they don't put on a bad match together. Like I said, I know Tamina does, but Naomi doesn't. She actually, like I said, is the wife of one of the Usos. The name is beyond me right now, but she is the wife of one of the Usos. You can pretty much assume that one of them is training her, giving her advice, so on and so forth. Very experienced. Key point I wanted to make. Sasha Banks, on the other hand, definitely, she is very, very good talent. This is probably going to set up a match between Charlotte and Sasha Banks going to WrestleMania. I want to see that. I want to see Sasha Banks win this. I want to see her have a WrestleMania moment. She's only 24 years old. She's going to have this moment, and she's probably going to rule the rest of the Divas division for 10 plus years. But what that does for the Divas division is one good thing. It's going to bring the talent up. Charlotte, Becky Lynch are going to set the precedent of being good. For the last couple years, you didn't need to be good to be a diva. All you needed was a good look. But now, they're going to change the game. Because you're going to see the moveset of Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch. You're going to see all that. And if you're not up to that tier in comparison, you don't need to be in this business. Because we got attractive women wrestling, doing a good thing, doing good promos, doing good matches and all that. If all you got is a look, then all you're going to be is a manager. Let's just be perfectly clear. You're only going to be Alana. That's all you're going to be. So with this, I'm glad it's going to set the precedent for the next couple of years of being, you need to be talented. You need to be an attractive diva. Like I said, this is what's going to happen, and I'm so glad of that, because let's just be honest, the last 10 years of this whole of divas coming in and out like a revolving door, we're not good at seeing. We need consistency as far as that's concerned. We definitely like seeing that. Just to bring a note, Charlotte is doing better on her mic skills. I mean, she has the best person in the business under, looking over her, Ric Flair. I mean, we all know that he's really good on the mic. I mean, who hasn't seen any of his his NWA promos, his WCW promos, his win at the Royal Rumble? That promo was awesome, very jubilant. You could see that he's teaching Charlotte all heel-like tactics, any baby face, any baby face mic skills. Just, you definitely see that, and that's good to see. At the very final main event of Raw last night, you had Sheamus against Roman Reigns. To me, this match, I didn't really need to see much of it. What I thought was going to happen happened. It was an interruption by Triple H towards the end of the match, and Triple H ended up beating Roman Reigns to a bloody pulp. Triple H is doing the perfect heel thing by letting everyone know that he's not playing around. For him to do that and building this up all the way to the weeks of WrestleMania is going to be perfect, because alongside adversity plus a babyface is sometimes a good thing. It worked when Roman Reigns ended up winning it against Sheamus on Monday Night Raw when Vince McMahon was the special enforcer. You definitely saw that, but let's see how this prolonged feud is going to be. And what I mean by that is, let's see this adversity be built up through the next following weeks. Let's see that happen. Hopefully we can see, Roman go over. I'm not that sold on Roman Reigns. I do want to see him be the babyface that the business wants to be. I'm all pro WWE, so I do want to see that. But what I don't want to see is if he's not progressing, I can't have him as the babyface, because from right now, we've given him, 3 years? We've already given him Royal Rumble 2014 when he almost won against Batista. Royal Rumble 2015 where he actually won it. And, Creative didn't want to give him that moment because they knew that he wasn't ready. And this year, he didn't even win it. So now he's going to have his WrestleMania moment this year. The cards have it all in, unless we have a Money in the Bank interference, because I don't see that happening because no one has it. So that's not going to happen. So wrapping up here, the key points I wanted to make. Shane McMahon's back. This is a very good thing. I definitely... I really do appreciate that he came back. It's been almost a decade since we saw Shane O'Mac. It's very good to see him back in the squared circle. Hopefully he can either put on a good match against The Undertaker, or maybe he's going to find someone to represent him in the corner. Next match, you're looking at Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles. This feud hasn't started yet, but like I said, when it ended, Creative is probably going to end up setting that match up. We'll probably see it happen either SmackDown or the next Raw. Wherever they're going to start it, they need to start it as soon as possible. So along these lines, you're going to see possibly a Ryback singles push, maybe, or just a build up to another card filler at WrestleMania. Other than that, this Raw was a very good one. I liked it. I definitely liked the opening segments, but I do need to see. I cannot see Raw with segment after segment after segment, no one wrestling. This is a wrestling This is a wrestling program. We need to see that in every sewn in between every other segment. I'll definitely like that. I'm definitely sold on that. But other than that, this sets the avenues for WrestleMania. This is what we all came to see. This is why we see Raw post pay-per-views. This is why we all, come to see them. This is why the ratings are so high after every review. That is my show. I definitely do appreciate you guys listening, tuning in. I love to watch wrestling, and I love to deliver the business of wrestling. I love to deliver the insight and analytics and whatever I think. I love bringing that out to the light to people who want to hear what I have to say or need a different perspective on things. Feel free to go on my Instagram at Mark F's Modern Life. I'll definitely answer any questions you guys have. If you guys need to see more content, let me know so I can take this Spreaker podcast to the next level. I'll definitely listen to the fans. I'm not like WWE Creative. I'll definitely listen to what you guys need and what you guys want to hear as far as a successful program goes. I want to become a successful program, and with the fan base that I think I can have, I definitely can. That's my show. You guys have a good night.